Hey guys, so today we're going to review the Outlast Whistleblower DLC for the Outlast game. I've not done a review for the original Outlast, so if you wanted to watch that first, I apologise, but you cannot. Generally, I thought the Outlast game was absolutely amazing, so I'm just going to outline some of the good things about the game, the bad things, which I don't know if there are any, to be honest, if I'm entirely honest. It was an amazing game, I really enjoyed it, and I have a ton of footage lying around from my Outlast playthrough, so I thought I would use it before I deleted it. So we'll go through a couple of good things and a couple of bad things, and hopefully by the end of this, if you haven't already played it, you may be interested in actually buying the game, as it was an excellent game and I thoroughly enjoyed pretty much every minute of it. Okay, so let's get started. Alright, so the first point that I'm going to make is the graphics of this game are absolutely beautiful. That applies for the original Outlast as well as the DLC, as obviously they're based on the same sorts of graphics, and are just new areas that you've been into. The graphics of this game are just really nice and really neat. Like, they can be run really well on not so powerful systems as well as other powerful systems, and the sound effects are really nice to go with the soundtrack in the background. That's a really nice soundtrack to go with it. But focusing on the graphics, they're generally really nice. The blood and gore graphics. I'm one of those people that are really squeamish. Like, I cringe at things a lot, and the blood in this game, I just tend to find it kind of nice, I suppose. Maybe that's strange. But it's just generally the textures and the character details, the faces, they're really nicely constructed. It has like its own unique style, which I quite like. And I think the graphics of the whole game are genuinely really nice, as well as the textures for things like fire, the weapons some of the enemies have, just general little things that you look into. They look visually appealing, and I think that's a really big bonus for this game in general. Another thing I really like about the Outlast DLC is that they've really pinched upon something they did in the original game, and they've made some really nice, unique enemies in the game, which you'll see throughout the game, which I really like. In the original game, you had the guy referred to as the big guy, and you had the penis people, and, they were people that reoccurred throughout the entire game, and I really like that feature. And they've done the same thing in Outlast Whistleblower, where they created this character here with a circular saw you see a lot. And he's like a recurring villain, which I really like. Even though it's only about 3 or 4 hours long, really, in gameplay, I like how they've created these villains, and they've kept bringing them back through the entire thing. Another character they brought into it was this character they decided to call the Groom, and it's quite a disturbing character, I have to say. He's not as deformed as a lot of the villains from the first game, or weird in that sense, but psychologically he's quite disturbing. And he's quite a frustrating character. There are several points in the game where the Groom comes along and he traps you or he kills you a lot of times, and he can be a really aggravating character to deal with. But I do like how they've brought back these two new main antagonists, as you might call them. Another thing that I really liked about the Outlast Whistleblower DLC was that they brought back characters from the very beginning of the original game, and I really like that. How they brought back Walker, who's the big guy I mentioned, I really liked, even though he was only in the game for maybe 15 or 20 minutes, he was only in it for one little scene, I really liked how they brought him back. And the same with the brothers, the penis people, or whatever you want to call them, I really like how they were brought back as well. And you can even see the bodies of people, like the scissor doctor, you see him, like, his body on the floor. I really like that you just get to see all the characters, and that you can see his path overlapping the path of the main character, Miles Upshur, from the first part of the game. And I really like how their paths overlap throughout the game in different areas of the game. Before I go on to the last topic that I want to talk about, I'm going to warn you, spoiler alert. Okay, the last thing I really want to say about this game was that a lot of thing that annoys me with a lot of horror games is that you die at the end. Your character always dies. And the ending to this game was absolutely perfect in every single way you can possibly imagine. The soundtrack is absolutely perfect, and I love how they take you through all of the parts of the game from the original first part of the game, you know, the non-DLC. At the ending, you walk past where The chapel's on fire where the priest killed himself, and you're going through the corridors, so you remember, you go past the down the drain guy, you even go through the area of the game where you very first climb through the window and everything, go into the room where the TV jump scares you, you go to see all the original things. And I thought it was absolutely amazing, and this nostalgic feeling of going through all of the things you've done in the first game, it's just so nice, and even you can tell from the music, it's so nice, and you're honestly, you think you're going to actually survive, and well, you do, and that's why it's such an amazing ending. In short, there really aren't any bad qualities about this game. The graphics are beautiful, the maps, the stories are beautiful, the music's beautiful, the characters are amazing, the entire game's absolutely amazing, and if any of you guys are fans of horror games, you should definitely buy this, as it was absolutely my favourite horror game out of all of the horror games that I've played, and I'm sure it will be out of the ones that I'll play in the future as well.
You press that button. There's no going back, Mr. Park. There's enough hard evidence in that video file to make a world of shit for our friends at Murkoff. You got out of Mount Massive alive, and we've done everything in our power to cover your tracks. But our enemies are twitching and malicious corporate paranoics with resources you're too moral to imagine. You won't be the only target. Anyone you care about, your wife, your child, there'll be nothing to Murkoff but ways to hurt you. I need you to understand the bridge you're crossing here. You will do irrevocable damage to the company. You might even get close to something like justice. But once you click upload, your life is over. Everyone you love is fucked. But it's the right thing to do. Is hurting Murkoff worth that much to you?